It's really short.
Oh, for me, it's one of the best things is the actual movement. Handbrake.
Now, you may have already seen Sam from See Through Glasses' YouTube video, but today I feel about 23 years old.
It is a real, like, going back.
It is a throwback on so many levels, not just the fact my R8 is here. Yes, it's got the V10, it's a little bit different to the original V8. We are on the industrial estate that Southern Sky Motors used to be situated at. Even behind me there, you can see the style of building. The amount of times that I've driven cars out of Southern Sky Motors. I bought the Gallardo, I bought the AMG GTS, but even just coming out to these roads feels like we're a few years younger than we are. Doing like a joint collaboration. It's just the coolest way of spending a random Wednesday.
It's the good old days.
Yeah. But today, it's not about that car. And whilst I personally and behind the scenes have been following an incredible journey of how Sam has gone and bought himself a 992 GT3, he's ended up with a winged car, which I know was not the original intention.
Well, I can explain more.
We're going to jump in this car. He has stupidly said he will give me the key so I can have a go in it. And well, whilst we're not at Southern Sky Motors, this building actually behind is Octane Collection, where we've visited a few times. You've done loads of videos out of here, so we may pop in there. If we don't, head over to Sam's channel and check out what they do have in there. It's rather impressive, but you may have already seen what's in there on my Instagram. I'll stop rambling, I'm gonna get my cameras, and we're gonna go for a drive in the GT3. I hope Tony's watching this, because right now he'll be pissing himself that you've given me.
He's already texted me saying, what are you doing?
Even this tarmac here, the first meters I ever did in my first ever Lamborghini.
Was here?
Yeah, of course. Like, I collected the car like this.
Oh, your Lamborghini?
Yeah, my Gallardo, and I drove straight to Burger King. Oh, what are the good old days.
That was classic YouTube there.
And we start, do you know what? On a road that is uneven, undulated, potholes everywhere. I was expecting this car to be a lot stiffer than it is.
This car has such a bad reputation for being undrivable on the public road. It's so firm. They made it way too firm. Okay, look, yes, it's firm.
Yeah.
But nowhere near as firm as I think a lot of people made out. It's firmer than its predecessor, yes. But are there firmer cars? 100%.
Yeah.
It's nowhere near as unbearable as people say.
How many miles have you done now on the car?
2,400.
Okay.
Which I don't think is that many. It doesn't feel like that many.
Yeah.
Because I last really drove it properly back in January. I did a big trip down to Austria.
Yeah. Well, that was when you collected it and drove it straight back down, right?
Straight down to Austria. And then since then, I've barely been in it because I've just been off doing so many other things. And it's been sitting around kind of gathering dust. So I'm about to put a ton more miles on it.
Okay, perfect. And did that brake help or hinder your love for the car? Because I know when you jumped in it, you were so excited. And obviously that initial buzz of a new car eventually wears off as you become used to it, as you become a little bit more in tune with just general driving. Did that brake make you fall in love with it, or like miss it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so I would say the opposite. For me, usually, the more I drive a car, the more time I spend with it, the more I tend to love it. Like I form that kind of bond.
Yeah.
And so by not driving this car, I haven't formed the bond yet. I remember when I went to Austria, I was like, oh, this is amazing, and I had like such a blast with it, and I came back being like, I'm never selling this thing. It's an amazing car. And then because I literally haven't driven it since, I'm just like, huh. And it's not just because I haven't had time to drive it. When I have had time to drive a car, I haven't necessarily run to get the GT3 because I actually find driving this car like this a little bit
pointless.
A bit.
Yeah.
Like, it wants all the revs, this car.
Okay.
It wants all the corners. It wants heavy, late braking. It wants to be properly thrashed like a race car.
Yeah.
Oh, now you can start to feel the bumps a little bit.
Yeah. And have you changed the setup at all?
No, it's completely T-bone stop.
What a beautiful tarmac! It's so smooth. We're at Silverstone.
The only thing that I've changed is the tyres.
Okay.
So I've actually dialed out a tiny bit of that frenetic kind of ride.
Yeah.
By going to standard, basically Turbo S tyres.
Okay.
So these are standard P0s. They're not the Corsas and they're not the Michelin Cup 2s, which a lot of people love. But it just makes that road compliance a little bit better.
Yeah.
But like this car makes
God, yeah.
a lot of sense. I mean, it's on rails. It is just singing. It gives you so much confidence. And now I'm like, I love this thing.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So you then end up wanting to drive it like this all the time. It's like, I mean, that is just so good.
Oh my God.
When do you want to take over?
I'm actually rather enjoying it being from the passenger seat.
But I mean,
This is
grip and this-
yeah. That is impressive. That is very impressive. Oh, it's really short.
Oh, for me, it's one of the best things is the actual movement. Handbrake. Good stuff.
I'm used to my
Foot on the
clutch.
brake. Foot on the brake. Foot on the brake.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a motorsport derived clutch, you know. Gotta
Yeah,
get
it's
used to
so light.
Yeah,
It's
super
completely different.
it. Yeah. So no, not an easy car to drive.
You've got to be a real purist to get behind the wheel of this car.
No, but I got to be honest. Like it's taken me a while to get used to, especially jumping from the 360 to
I
this.
bet, yeah.
It's a very, very different movement, but the gearbox is lovely. I would go right here to get us back on that road that we just did.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a very different movement, but once you get used to it and start moving around the box, it is so nice. And don't forget the gears are long, so.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's no clunk or anything like that. It's just and then. What's that?
What were you doing there?
Where's the? Oh, okay. I thought
I've put you in sport now.
Yeah, but because I stalled it, it took me back out because I was expecting the rev match.
Instead, you just spun the rear wheels. I'll check the rubber tread depth after this.
Are you sure this was a good idea, sir?
Yeah, I'm really suddenly starting to doubt. Oh God.
No, I'll just cruise, but I just want to get a feel for being.
No, you
behind
shouldn't
the
cruise. You've got to crack on
but-
because that's where the car comes alive. The thing which you've got in this car is if you get it all wrong, you've got big brakes as well. Like,
Okay,
which
I thought you were going to say
really
you've got a big problem.
Luckily for me, we've got a truck, so I can breathe a sigh of relief. But drop back because the two things that you've got to experience with this car, firstly, is getting as close as you can to that 9,000 RPM red line within the speed limit, so you need to be in first or second gear. And a relatively late brake and a fast turn, because that's where this thing comes alive. So when we go over the ramp on
Where's the nearest track?
Yeah. Well, actually, funny you should say that.
Yeah, Dunsfold is over there.
Don't forget those tarmac ramps, those on-off.
Oh, yeah,
because they will really screw us. But there was that nice smooth section where you just got to try.
You're right.
Just a first gear launch or something.
And you're right, with that light gear shift and the light clutch pedal, it really just is there to make your life easier for you to go as fast as possible.
Go on, do a pull here. Just keep an eye on that. Should have been in first gear.
Oh well. Yeah, okay, that's cool.
But the reason I said first gear is because everything happens post 5,000 RPM. So all of that torque, everything's waiting. So the only negative to a GT3, which there are very, very few, is that if you want to drive with other cars, or you're in the wrong gear, like coming out of a roundabout or a corner, you're like, oh damn it!
Everyone's pulling away.
So you've always got to be in a lower gear for longer than you think.
Yeah.
And then that's when you get the.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And they try to do that everywhere now.
Yeah.
This is like the dream is to do that all the time.
It kind of removes the point of it being an A to B car.
Yeah.
It's just it's a load of fun.
Yeah.
Ah, that's very, very cool. Very, very cool. Look at these two. We've made it back safely. I've bought the GT3 back in one piece, and I know Sam was...
I was genuinely nervous at that first thing.
stalling it a couple of times. Hey, I love manual cars. And if you saw Sam's video, you'll see that I completely missed a shift on my first ever full throttle acceleration in the R8. I just find it a lovely car to cruise around in, but this is a different beast.
You into your planes? Which one's that?
We are on a flight path. Looks like a... I actually don't know. But I know we touched upon the fact that the 360 and the GT3 fundamentally is the same package. The fact that this is leaps and bounds in terms of years and tech.
Oh, it's just dialed in. It's the handle.
Honestly, like that front end, the steering, the gearbox, I've never driven a car like it.
Okay.
And I know I don't jump in too many new cars because I'm not that fussed about them. And actually, some of the cars that are in there are much more up my Strata now. As I'm getting older, a little bit more mature.
Sure.
There's still a Murcielago in there. But very, very cool. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I know it's a belated congratulations, but at the same time, like to see it properly in the flesh and to experience it from the passenger seat and the driver's seat, a very cool day out. And hopefully you guys have enjoyed it too. I feel like now we need a little bit of a lunch.
Sounds perfect.
Beautiful.
Starving.
Right. 2 NA cars, 2 manual cars in 2023, going for lunch.